For my online test proctoring screen, when I see that a student has completed a test, again, that green completed, green stands for go, grade, the constructed response. So when I see that green completed, before I'm going to be able to look at any data in quick views or single test analysis, I need to go grade the constructed response. To grade the constructed response, you'll click on Administer. And in that same view of tests available, I can filter using my filters on the right, and I can use my search bar at the top to narrow down to the test I want to see. Once I have the test, I'll click Enter Answers and select the class I'm wanting to grade constructed responses for. I'll click Load Students. And right now I'll notice that all of the students have bells next to their name because these are unscored at this time. To score a constructed response, the easiest way is to click here on Constructed Response Item, Score this question. When I click on that, it's going to only show me the constructed response questions by question number. And it will show me each student and the response they have below. If the student has left the response blank, it's most likely that the student is still testing, so I'll want to check my test proctor screen to confirm the status. If I want to see the scoring guide, I can click Scoring Guide to pull up the rubric I have attached on that assessment. Now that I know how many points each student gets for the correct answers, I can go ahead and start scoring those students who have already submitted their responses. I click on the box that says Score, and I can either use my keypad to type in the score, or I can use the arrows to score up or down. Once I have the score I want, I'll go to the next student who has a constructed response to score. I'll continue scrolling down my list of students and looking at their responses, giving each one a score. Notice the difference between the student has left the response blank. This is a student that's not actively testing, but also has not submitted the test, versus this student who says the responses cannot be viewed because the student has not submitted. This is a student that's actively testing and is in progress. If I want clarification of the status, again, I'll go to the online test proctoring page to see the status of each student. Once I've determined that I've scored all of the students who have currently submitted their responses, I'll scroll back up to the top and click Review and Score. When I pull that up, I'll see each student, and next to the student, I'll see if they still have unanswered questions. At this time, I only want to score students who have turned their test in, so I'm going to check the students that do not have any unanswered questions there. I'll click Score Selected Students, and I'll notice that they have been scored because it will no longer have the bell. It will just be blank next to their name. That is how I'm scoring short constructed responses or extended constructed responses in Aware online testing. To rescore a constructed response in Aware, I'll click on Administer tab. I can use my search feature and filters to narrow down to the test I want to rescore. I'll select the test and click the Enter Answers icon. I'll select the class period and click Load Students. I'll click on the student name that I want to rescore. and I'll find their constructed response question. Once I'm there, I can adjust the score by clicking the arrow up or down or typing in my response for their score. Once I've done that, I'll scroll down and click Rescore Student. That is how you rescore a student on a constructed response in Aware. If I want to review or correct any text entry questions in Aware, I'll want to click on Administer, find the test that I'm wanting to adjust, and click on Enter Answers. Select the period, click Load Students. Any student that is here that does not have a bell has already received a score. So those are the students I want to double check. When I click on their name, I'll look at what they entered for the text entry. And there were 2 on this test. The student got them both correct, and I can see what they responded as. Students with the bell, you'll notice you'll not be able to view because they've not submitted their test yet for scoring. So I'll click on the next student. I'll double check the first text entry and the second. I'll notice that this one was not spelled correctly, but they got the right idea. So after talking with my PLC team and deciding we're not going to count off for spelling, I'll mark this as correct, scroll down, and click Rescore Student. I'll continue that process with any student that does not have the bell to double check. On this one, again, we wanted 3 inches. Although this is technically correct, this isn't what we were looking for. But my PLC team and I discussed it, and we agreed we're going to go ahead and give credit. So I'm going to mark as correct. Double check their second text entry. This one is, I don't know. So nope, we're not going to give credit for that one. We're going to keep that as is. And we're going to click Rescore Student. That is how you review and correct any text entry questions in Aware.